Oh, there's plenty of people challenging Islam. It's growing, I think.
Give me an example of one challenge to Islam.
Well, there's apostate prophet. There's loads of ex-Muslims. I heard it's growing. Ex-Muslims are growing.
What's the challenge? What's the challenge that's done? What's the gotcha moment? What's the, oh, this demonstrates Islam is false?
There is nothing that APUS has ever brought that has found difficulty with Muslims responding to it. In fact, Brother Fareed Responds did what, 50 videos responding to every single significant claim that he could possibly muster. Something
maybe we don't have the answer to that
initial start.
Oh, okay. Let's say there was a. Let's say there is a start.
Let me introduce you to religion.
Okay. But there's loads of different types of religion. Which one's right?
How would you know?
Yeah, how would I know? I need science to prove it.
My connection is a bit bad. Sorry, guys. I have to restart. I have to reload. Can Hamza continue? Or Abbas?
No problem.
You're nearly correct. You could use logic, isn't it? To determine which religion is true or not.
Yes.
So you'd look at who's making the claim and why you should believe it.
Yeah. So you need logic of brain, which is not everybody can have. Not everybody has the.
Well, no, we can use rationale, mate. So we can ask ourselves: this creator, is it one creator or is it multiple creators?
Well, there's different theories. That's for sure.
The point is, is it necessary for the creator to be one creator or multiple creators?
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about the scientific. So the science say there is no creator, or there is the creator, but it's not like God. It's something else, like
but they can't say that because they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, so they're agnostic.
They can't affirm anything.
So they're agnostic on that point, but everything else is not.
Sean, we're picking up a lot of sound on your microphone. Is it possible that you could try to use a different mic, or perhaps just try to move it slightly to see if it gets better or whatever? Or
is this better? I took it off.
That's a lot better, actually.
Yeah, that's much better.
I should have asked you that ages ago. I was thinking about it.
Oh, sorry about that.
Actually, that is a lot better. Yeah, go on.
Right. So we agree that science cannot determine if there is a God, which God it is true, which religion is true. Yeah.
Yes.
But we can look at the claims made by those who claim their religion is true and determine whether or not it's true or not.
Yeah.
How do you test a belief?
I mean, I follow a lot of religious channels. Like I listen to what's his name, Myth Vision. He's like an ex-Christian.
He talks nonsense. Anyway, what I'm saying is, how would you test a belief?
Well, you have to criticize it. You gotta think about it critically first. You gotta ask questions.
No.
Critical thinking.
How do you test it? All right. How do you test a belief? Go on then. How do you test a belief?
You ask critical questions like
what?
How do you prove so you ask all these critical questions of the stories and the
you can't keep asking critical questions. I'm asking you as a principle, and I'm not just talking about religious belief now. I'm talking about any belief, anyone's belief. How do you test the credibility of their belief?
You have to ask critical questions, so you're interested in it. So you ask them, "Oh yeah, you sure about that?" No, so they'll like try and explain it to you.
No, that's not what you do. All right, let me explain something to you quickly. All right, when you say you believe something, what you're saying is you accept this thing to be true. You're saying you're convinced this thing is true. You trust this thing is true. The word, all these words are synonymous with the word belief. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you accept something to be true, it means you've accepted a proposition. You've heard a proposition. You've heard reasons to support that proposition, and you've believed those reasons are good and true. Yeah. And you accept that belief based upon the foundations of its reasons. Yeah. Its reasoning.
Okay.
Right. So if you want to challenge that same belief, you need to challenge the reasoning behind it. So you need to challenge the reason. So if you say, I believe such and such a thing, which is what you did, and I ask you the question, why do you believe so? I'm doing exactly that. I'm challenging your premises, your foundations, your reasons for holding what you're holding on to. And to be honest with you, Sean, you found a little bit wanting. You're just hoping that the scientists have got the answers.
I'm not a very good atheist. I'm just
no.
arbitrary.
But so I'll give you. I'll just give you an example now. So a Christian can come along and say, "Forget Sean. Forget what these Muslims are banging on about. Christianity's true. Jesus died for your sins. Here's a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. You're saved, John. Just believe that, and you're saved." These Muslims don't know what they're talking about. Their fake prophet, their Quran and such. Yeah. Now, the question that would be asked by you, Sean, is what?
Which one is real?
No.
Which religion is correct?
No. What did I just teach you, Sean? When somebody comes to you,
sorry, I forgot.
Beliefs.
Oh, you ask them critical questions. You ask them questions.
No, you ask them why they believe that thing is true.
Oh,
why
yes.
do they believe Jesus died for their sins? Why do they believe they got the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory? Why do they believe this thing? And they'll tell you.
Because they're Chelsea fans. Thank you.
Yeah, they'll tell you it's because the Bible says so. And then what's the next question, Sean?
How do you know the Bible is created by God?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Why
the Jesus, the prophets
is a reliable source of information.
Oh, the Paul and all the apostles, were they telling lies?
They'll say it's the word of God, and you'll ask them, why do you believe it's the word of God? They'll go to some verses in the book to try to support it with their circular reasoning. You'll explain a few things to them that this doesn't support what you're saying. And now what you've done, you've taken away all the foundations for that belief, because the reasons they were holding that position, you've taken up all the scaffolding. Yeah. Now what happens, Sean, is if they still believe it, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, that belief becomes delusion.
Yes.
Because delusion is believing in something despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. So some people have an emotional attachment to something, even though the facts are saying, fucking nonsense, mate. But they love the idea of it. You're delusional, mate. Okay. So here's what I'm saying to you, Sean. Now, you could do that to every religion. I'm saying that as a Muslim, yeah? But I would reverse it. Because if Islam is true, everything else is false by default. And you just need to find the weaknesses. Because if Islam is true, Jesus didn't die for nobody's sins. There's no monkey gods and Hindu and thingy gods going on. Do you get me? There's only one religion, which is Islam, if Islam is true. Yeah? That means the idea of Darwinian evolution evolving from Nemo is out the window also. So all you need to do, Sean, is to challenge Islam.
Oh, there's plenty of people challenging Islam. It's growing, I think.
Give me an example of one challenge to Islam.
Well, there's apostate prophet. There's loads of ex-Muslims. I heard it's growing. Ex-Muslims are growing.
What's the challenge?
Well, there's probably others too. Like I follow apostate prophet.
What's the challenge that's done? What's the gotcha moment? What's the this demonstrates Islam is false? What
I also criticize other religions. I'm not only against Islam,
we're asking about Islam. There is nothing that APOS has ever brought that has found difficulty with Muslims responding to it. In fact, Brother Farid Responds did 50 videos responding to every single significant claim that he could possibly muster, and APOS could not respond. Took 2 years for him to try to, and even dismissed the majority of it. There is I don't think that there is a single legitimate criticism of Islam that will stand up to muster. And if you have one, Sean, we're asking you to present the best one you possibly have. If you say you watch APOS, then you must know his best argument. What is his best argument? Come on.
Well, I won't share there's a lot of critical things that are in the Bible that are quite controversial. There is controversial things in the Bible. I mean, the Quran.
The Bible. No, give us the most significant claim against Islam, Sean. Come on.
No, he just said it. He just said it. Sean, tell me the most critical thing in the Quran you can think of.
Well, there is quite controversial things in the Quran, but I haven't read the Quran. Sorry, so okay.
Critical, not controversial. Critical. So hold on. You dismiss Islam because of APOS, but you concede you haven't read the Quran. That doesn't seem like logical thinking to me. But please give us the most critical verse in the Quran that you think undermines Islam.
Let me think now.
Think hard. You're dismissing an
allowing to marry your cousin. Is that in the Quran? Allowing to marry your cousin? Or is that in the Hadiths?
Sean.
I'm not expert. Sorry.
You know, I live in England, yeah.
Ireland.
I live in England.
Okay.
You live in Ireland.
Yeah, you look Irish.
Oh no, I'm English. I'm English, mate. Are you Irish?
Are you Irish?
No, I'm English. Are you Irish?
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm half French, half Irish.
So you are all right. In Ireland, can you marry your cousin?
You can probably, but I don't think it's morally acceptable.
According to who? You're an atheist. Where do you get your morals from?
According to tradition and morals and scientific evidence as well. Scientific reasons as well. Well, the science of if you do too much inbreeding, it's no good for the offspring.
Right. So marrying your cousin is legal in Ireland. Marrying your cousin is legal in England. Yeah, your first cousin.
Okay.
Yeah? So you could marry the daughter of your father's sister. And your morals are based upon. So where'd you get your morals from?
Well, you could technically, if let's say in the future,
Sure. Right now, what is your moral standard guide? Where'd you get your moral guidance from?
The majority of it comes from religion, but a lot of it also comes from common sense, like evolution. Like we have innate feelings. We all feel pain, so we get our morals from the experiences we get from.
That's not how
pain
morals work.
That's not morality.
Like, for example, Hamza hurts my feelings when he doesn't support Chelsea Football Club. That doesn't make it morally wrong.
Yeah.
Feelings don't count as facts or laws, Sean. Come on, we all know this.
I've got a really, really controversial question I could ask you, and I'll just put you right against.
All right, go on, tell me.
Because you were saying something along the lines of science says it's no good for you or it's bad for society or something like that, yeah?
Oh, Hamza,
yeah, the genetics. Genetically wise.
I know what you're going to ask.
Oh, you're talking about incest with your brothers and sisters now, yeah?
Something lighter.
No, I'm staying within the law.
Pedophilia.
No. What's wrong with you, Sean? No.
Sorry. The morals, no. You're talking about morals.
Sean,
it's all subjective when you think about it.
Sean, scientifically, there's certain.
You're gonna say it much nicer than me.
Like Sean, think of it. Do you know? Do you know Wayne Rooney?
Yes.
Right. If he married someone like Dominic Cumberbatch or Boris Johnson, would that be scientifically okay, or would they cause harm to each other?
Well, according to our modern morals, it would be kind of strange, but they would accept it because it's not
morals. I'm asking about scientifically. Would they
scientific harm?
Scientifically, if they married, if you were to apply the scientific method,
they consummated the marriage.
It would be fine.
They're
consummating the marriage.
Yeah, it would be fine.
Scientifically.
Yeah, if you were to apply the scientific method, you'd have to. I don't know, do some scientific experiments.
Well, they have done experiments, Sean, and that's the problem. The incident rate of UTIs and infections, the incident rate to anal tearing, and the incident rate to hemorrhaging in that area is more significant among one population than the other, including the STI and STD rates. In fact,
oh yes, you're talking about homosexual. Yes.
Well, Wayne Rooney marrying Boris Johnson kind of give that away.
So, yeah. Got me there. Oh, yeah. So you're saying that gay marriage is probably not very good for your health?
No, is it good for society? First thing.
Well, okay. Let's say
scientifically,
the act itself is probably not very healthy. It is very pleasurable scientifically proven that it's very. I heard that the male G spot is up the bum hole. Sorry.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I could
guys,
be wrong.
I'm going to have to step in here. Sean, look, we're sort of drifting into territory.
Let me just say something to that.
We really are drifting into areas where I don't think we should be.
Just so I understand something, just Sean. What you just said then, right? That's just so when you use the toilet, it's a pleasurable experience and it's not hard. See, the back passage, yeah, is one way. It's one way. It opens that way. You go the other way, you're blasting it open.
No, but I heard. No, I could be wrong. I haven't looked into it because it's too controversial for me.
Have you personally done this scientific experiment yourself, Sean?
No, I heard that the male G spot is up there, so I don't know. Could be wrong.
Okay, Sean. Look, again, we're going into territories that I think are, quite frankly,
that are one way.
No. But the thing is, Abbas, I know what you're saying. The territory is obviously a bit saucy, but the point being made is standard. The morality that Sean is saying is based upon, marrying your first cousin is wrong because of what will happen to generations of society and that, and so you should then also be against homosexuality for the same reasons. Yeah, but
you could have scientific answers to that, like contraception, like condoms.
Same thing with cousins.
Yeah, you could have sex with your cousin but don't have a kid.
Sean, listen, guys. Sean, you don't need to use contraception if your two males are, because you can't get pregnant. But anyway, look, guys. Before we go into Sean, the whole conversation started from you saying that you're more atheistic. You believe in science. You believe science will find the answers. The point, Sean, is that science may or may not find answers, but science has also said we may never know what came before the Big Bang, what came before the beginning of the universe, because that might be as far back as we can possibly go, which I think intuitively probably makes sense, because how would you know what happened before the beginning of time and space as we understand it, right? So the point, Sean, is this. Does that mean that we just simply say, well, we don't know, and I'm just going to reserve my opinion? Or do we say, well, okay, that's very interesting, but what could have been the possible ways that the universe could have come into existence? So there are some rational things that you can do and ponder on, and then possibly come to what you feel seems like the more plausible, the more reasonable explanation. So, for example, the universe could have always existed. The universe could have come into existence from another material cause, or the universe came into existence from a supernatural cause. There are only a very few possibilities as to how something might come into existence, and this is called using deduction, using premises that are logical, that are rational, and then coming to some form of a conclusion. Now, that does not necessarily mean that you'll understand the reality of everything, but it simply means that you can come to a reasonable conclusion based upon reason as to how something might have happened. Now, when we look at science and what science is telling us, that the universe came into existence from non-existence. There wasn't a universe there before. Or science might say that this is a group of a multiverse, i.e. infinite universe, which simply still states that there has to be something outside of this material existence that has to explain how this all got here. And whatever that thing is, Sean, cannot also have an explanation outside of itself, or have something that is responsible for its existence, because you simply then go back and back and back, and eventually you have to get to a point where there has to be a necessary existence, because if you go back infinitely, you'll never get to the present time that we're in today, because if you're always walking backwards, you can't go forwards. You can't get to here because you can't traverse an infinite number of steps to get to where we are today. So what we're saying to you, Sean, is that these are philosophical questions. They're not necessarily questions that science is ever going to be able to answer. The existence of everything, how it got here. Science may tell you how things work. And so, Sean, what we're telling you to do is just think about that, contemplate about that. You don't need to be a scientist to say, well, if this tennis ball exists, where did this tennis ball come from? Well, let me look at what it's made from. If it's made from rubber and made from plastics or fabrics or whatever it might be, then that might give you a clue, an explanation as to where it might have come from or who might have manufactured it or made it, right? And just as, Sean, you said, you would never assume that the tennis ball simply always existed or simply came into existence from nothing. It is not unreasonable to follow those same principles when it comes to the existence of the universe, that it too must have had a reason, a cause of its existence. It is dependent upon different things such as hydrogen, helium, iron, etc., and they have to have come from somewhere. Okay, and ultimately whatever created everything cannot be created, otherwise it cannot be the creator of everything. So there has to come a point where there has to be something, a necessary existence. So do you think do you think that's rational? Do you think that's a reasonable assumption to arrive at, Sean? And if not, can you explain why not?
So you're basically saying that God created everything, but that God was never created. Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm saying to you, Sean, is that if we apply our logic and reason, there has to be something that is a necessary existence. I'm not mentioning God at the moment.
Or the Big Bang or whatever.
Whatever it might be, there has to be a necessary existence that caused everything.
A beginning, yes. Okay.
A beginning for everything, right?
Right.
Now, the point, Sean, is that when we look at the universe, like Hamza said, it points towards an organizer, a designer, a creator. It points towards an intelligence. The universe came into existence at a certain point in history. Therefore, it requires a will to do it at a certain time. And it requires something incredibly powerful, far beyond the imagination or our ability to measure. And when we look at all of those qualities, Sean, what that sounds very much like is a creator that created everything with an intelligence and a will to create.
Okay, you're saying that God could have created everything, but you don't know if God himself was ever created?
Okay.
You ever know?
So, Sean, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you the question, Sean. Can the first cause of everything be itself created?
Yeah. And then something creates some infinitely something creates.
So how can it be the first cause?
How can it be the first cause, Sean? How can it be the first?
So let's say hypothetically, God is created by something else.
Sean,
and then you go on forever.
Sean, I asked you a rational, a logical question. Can the first cause of everything itself be created?
You could take hypothetically say so. Yeah.
Okay, one second.
Sorry, Hamza, let me just, Sean, how can it be the first cause if it itself is also created by something else? It can't be the first cause then, can it?
I guess not. No, it's infinite. Infinity, I would be describing infinity, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're now saying that there are an infinite series of causes, can we?
That's my theory anyway. I could be wrong.
Can we arrive to today where we are talking today?
I don't know, man. We could be living in a parallel universe. It's all Matrix. It's all Illuminati.
Okay, but Sean, if you're prepared to go into areas where you have absolutely no evidence whatsoever,
aliens,
whatever it might be, Sean, right? Then basically what you're doing, Sean, is you're saying to me, I'm not going to think about these questions. and I'm never going to accept the existence of a creator. And what I'm going to do is make every excuse under the sun to believe something else, but I won't accept it.
No, okay, I'll accept that there could be one creator. Okay, there is a possibility there could be one, but there's also a possibility there could be other.
Okay, so Sean, Hamza said to you, if there is that possibility, how would you be able to yourself discover the reality of that?
I would use science. I would use science to find.
Sean, it was nice to have you on, but I just, to be perfectly honest, I think, we are running in circles here, because we explained to you the scientific method. We explained to you that it's based on philosophical naturalism, and yet you still want to use a hammer to make custard, and it's not going to happen, Sean, and that's the problem, you see. So with all due respect, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I think perhaps this conversation is perhaps a little bit something that maybe you haven't studied sufficiently on, but I feel that we're perhaps running into circles. But Sean, what I would suggest to you, Sean, is this, before you go, is that if you do assert that there is a possibility that there is a creator, then I would suggest to you, Sean, humbly, that you do a little bit of investigation as to whether this creator has indeed tried to contact human beings to inform us, to tell us, to guide us, to have the best possible life, and give us the questions that so many of us have, which is,
it could be an alien too, like,
right? So why am I here? Where am I going? Is this it, basically? And what you would do, Sean, like Hamza said, is that you would assess the claims. You would assess, why is this believable? Why should I believe it? And you should come to a rational conclusion based upon your investigation and your knowledge as to whether there is a merit, whether there is a good reasons and a reasoned argument to believe that this is the truth. But I believe, Sean, what you shouldn't do is jump to aliens or jump to anything else, because even aliens require a cause, and they require a universe.
Where the aliens come from, Sean?
Exactly. So we're going to run in circles. But Sean, anyway, Sean, it was a pleasure to have you on. Somewhat.
All right. Thanks. Thanks very much. All right. Bye.
Before you go, Sean.
You have a good night.
Before you go, you're 29. Yeah.
Yes.
I accepted Islam when I was 27. I used to kind of think similar to you, not as stupid as you, but similar to you. I used to use my brain and a little bit more. And mashallah, 20 years ago, I accepted Islam. So there's hope for you, mate. But unless you think it's all a joke, and when you're dead, and that's it, and you worm food, and that's it, then you're all right, aren't you? But if you're wrong, then what?
Yeah, it's kind of sad when you think about it that way. But I hope there's somebody else out there. But I don't know.
Well, no. Here's the thing.
Right,
I understand why you're the way you are, because you've had so much dogma from the Catholic Church that you just feel you're done with dogma. But you know there's a creator. You just know it.